When it comes to keeping your stuff safe, a padlock is usually your first line of defense. But not all locks are the same, and picking the wrong one can give you this false sense of security. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to choose the right Ingersoll padlock for pretty much any situation. Let's get right into it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why this choice is so important. Then, we're going to reveal the one feature that changes everything, the shackle. After that, we'll meet 3 specific Ingersoll locks, put them head-to-head, answer some common questions, and finally, give you a really simple way to make the right choice. Okay, so why does your padlock choice matter so much? I mean, it's easy to just grab any old lock off the shelf, right? But the wrong one? Well, it's actually worse than no lock at all. It makes you think your valuables are safe, when in reality, they could be a super easy target. And this really gets to the heart of it. The right padlock isn't always the biggest or the most expensive one. It's all about matching the lock to the risk. I mean, the lock you'd use on a garden shed is going to be totally different from the one you'd trust on, say, a shipping container. Let's dig into why. All right, now for the real secret sauce of this whole thing. The single most important factor in how strong a padlock is, it's not some complicated thing hidden inside. Nope, it's a feature that's literally hiding in plain sight. So, what is it? What really separates a high-security lock from a standard one? You might think it's all about, complex gears or space-age materials, but the biggest factor is actually way simpler and a lot more obvious. It all comes down to this, the shackle, that U-shaped metal loop. It's the part of the lock that does all the work, but it's also its biggest weakness. See, the more of that shackle you can see and get to, the easier it is for a thief to attack it with bolt cutters, a pry bar, or even a saw. And this brings us to the fundamental trade-off in padlock design. An open shackle gives you a ton of versatility. It's super easy to fit around chains and latches. But that convenience comes at a price. It creates a vulnerability. A closed shackle, on the other hand, minimizes that weak spot, making it way more secure. But it also limits what you can lock with it. It's that classic battle between convenience and security. So with that idea in mind, let's meet the 3 Ingersoll padlocks that perfectly showed this whole spectrum. Each one is designed for a completely different level of risk. First up, we've got the OS 711, which we're going to call the versatile guard. The OS in the name stands for open shackle, which gives it that classic long U-shape that makes it incredibly easy to use on just about anything. And even though it's versatile, it's still a really tough, weather-resistant lock. It's got a high-security cylinder, which makes it a major upgrade from your standard hardware store padlock for sure. So where would you actually use this? Well, it's perfect for general-purpose security. Think about things like gates, sheds, and storage units, places where you need solid protection. But you also want the convenience of a lock that's easy to get on and off. Okay, now let's level up to the CS712, which we're calling the Fortress. CS stands for close shackle, and you can see right away how much shorter it is and how the lock's body protects it. This design is all about being tough. It's made of hardened steel, and it's built specifically to stop attackers from getting any kind of easy grip with cutters or a saw. This is the lock you pick when the stakes are a little higher. It's ideal for things like high-security gates, shipping containers, or locking down expensive industrial equipment where you're worried about a cutting attack. And finally, we get to the absolute apex predator of padlocks, the CS700, or the Vault. This one takes that closed shackle idea to its absolute extreme. I mean, the shackle exposure here is almost 0, which makes a cutting attack pretty much impossible. Its hardened steel body and high-grade cylinder are also designed to resist picking and even drilling. This thing is just engineered for maximum resistance, period. So you bring out the Vault for your most critical assets. It's really designed for those maximum security situations, especially in tight spaces where you need to lock something down that's super valuable and leave absolutely no room for an attacker to get to work. Okay, we've met all 3 contenders. Now let's put them right next to each other to make this choice as clear as possible for you. This chart really makes the choice simple. For your everyday, general-purpose security, the open shackle OS 711 is your go-to. When you need to protect higher-value items, you're going to step up to the high-security closed shackle CS712. And for your most critical assets, where there's just no room to compromise, you choose the maximum security extra close CS700. All right, let's move on and tackle some of the practical questions that you might have before you make a decision. Okay, Common questions. Can you get them key to like so one key opens all your locks? Yes, you can. Are they weather resistant for using them outside? Absolutely. What about security ratings? Well, they range from high to maximum, and it lines up directly with how protected that shackle is. And what if you lose a key? Can you get a replacement? Yep, you sure can.
We've covered a ton of ground here, so now let's just boil all of this down into a simple, actionable plan to help you pick your perfect lock with total confidence.
It all comes down to this really simple 3-step check. Step 1, just identify what you're protecting. Is it a garden rake or a commercial generator? Step 2, assess the risk. Are we talking about a quiet backyard or a vulnerable industrial site? And then step 3, match the shackle to that risk. Low risk gets the versatile open shackle. High risk needs the tough closed shackle. And maximum risk, that demands the extra closed shackle. It really is that simple.
And this leaves us with one last, really critical thought. You can go out and buy the strongest padlock in the entire world, but it's only as strong as the chain it's on. So as you're securing your valuables, ask yourself this. What's the real weakest link in my security? Is it the flimsy hinge, the rusty hasp, the cracked door frame? Because a great lock, that's just the first step to true security.